the habit of recognizing that, hey, listen, I need to offer support to my child in the online space as much as I would offer the support to my child in the regular space. And so I want to say to you, parents, please just know that you can't just give them a tablet, give them a computer, and leave them alone. You have to maintain that level of support, and you have to check in and making sure that all is being done. I know the Dean, Mrs. Phillips Williams, will talk to you a little bit more about that, so I won't get into that too much. But just to say to you, parents, that we are expecting your support to be great as you go through this academic year. As I said earlier, I am happy that um, I'm happy that we are seeing some of our students in uniform. And so we want to congratulate those parents and students who saw it fit to be in the uniform. And one of the things that I want to really kind of just promote is the idea of the wearing of the uniforms for classes. And not only the wearing of the uniform, but for persons to set up a space within the home that will accommodate class. You know, I don't want us to have our children lying down in bed in the morning, not even wash them face yet, and them online, you know. And when the teacher says, Claudelis, can you open your camera and answer this question? Claudelis can't open his camera because Claudelis is in his pajama, lying down in bed. No, man. Parents, we need to let our children get up and let them wash them face and brush them teeth and bathe and put on uniform and, you know, provide them some breakfast, something to eat, make them in a space that they can feel as though they are actually in school and they are ready to take on the business of learning. I want to use a word that Mrs. Green often uses. And so we have to ensure that we are intentional in what we are doing. We can't just expect that we are going to do well and our children are going to do well by buck up. We must ensure that we say to them, if we are going to work, you need to get up and you need to get ready for 7:30. You need to be in class. This is a space that you are going to be in. Your uniform must be prepared, and so on and so forth. Let's get into this habit of being in school, even though we are in the virtual space. I know there are some parents that are saying, but you know, Rev, I did not prepare any uniform because I'm not sure what the school year is going to be and so on. I'm saying to you, some way, somehow we are going to be face to face at some point. So you just take a time and start preparing. And the uniform from last year that you have, go ahead and let them wear it. Let them wear the PE gears. You know, just ensure whatever you do that you are working with us, and let the children know that you are working with us, that it is not the school that is saying one thing and you are not supportive of what the school is saying, but indeed you are supportive of what is being said. And once the children know that we are both saying the same things, I believe we will get a positive result. So I am promoting the wearing of uniform. Some persons will say to me, sir, I don't turn on my camera because of X and Y. We have been encouraging our teachers that even if the cameras are not on for the entire period, that there are intervals that we ask our students to turn on the cameras. We need to know that the cameras are turned on. I tell you what, my wife is a teacher. And my wife was in orientation yesterday, just like I am today. And she was telling me when I got home that in her orientation, the children's names were there and so on. And so she was getting ready to mark names and so on, but there was a new child who was supposed to be in the class. And so after being told in the chat that the child is there and the child is answering questions and all of that, she said, seeing that you are new, can you please open your camera so that I can put a name to the face? Parent, come on. Sorry, miss, but she's at her father. So I am the one in the orientation. You see that now? And so a lot of times you are thinking that the children are the ones in the class and in the test and doing the thing when none of them. And so from time to time, our parents are going, our students rather, are going to be told, open your camera, man, and answer this question. Let us see who is behind the camera. So because we know some of you are going to say, but sir, my background really stay too good or whatever reason. And the truth of the matter is, parents, it is what it is. Your background is what it is. And I do understand that you may not want to show your background. But if that is so, a very good suggestion was made, I believe it was by the Dean of Discipline, to let us provide all our students with a virtual background that is representational of the Pembroke High School. And so we are going to do that. And I'm going to ask the systems administrator to get that together. And we will send it to you in your school email as well as in the parents groups so that you can use that as your virtual background in the event you do not want to expose the background where you are. But the idea is that there will be times that you'll be asked to actually open your cameras. And so parents, we beg your support on this. We want the school and home to actually be working with each other. And so I am asking that you please support us on this. All right. We begin the teaching and learning in terms of classes on September 14. That is next week. For the remainder of this week and next week, Monday, we will be continuing our orientation exercises. And next week, Tuesday, we will begin classes online. Classes begin at 7:30 a.m. with registration and devotional exercise. Now, parents, I want you to know that at Pembroke High School, we may not be a church school, as in how we understand church schools, but we believe in God and we are a faith-based institution. And so we know that several of our students, them not go Sabbath school and them not go Sunday school, but we still need to ensure that there is some level of spiritual awareness that these students inculcate, because it is these spiritual awareness that we learn in school that sometimes hold us when we get older and the world start to run at us at 120 miles an hour. And so we are promoting the devotional exercises in the mornings. And so we ask that you don't get ready for 8 o'clock class, but you get ready for 7:30 registration and devotion, right? And parents, you can always feel free to join the devotional exercise or the class as you see fit. We are more than happy to accommodate you and to have you join us for these sessions. So classes begin 7:30 next week, Tuesday morning. And guess what now, my students? You are going to love this. You are absolutely going to love this. Classes are going till 2 o'clock every day, right? I know that some of you last year was saying, boy, sir, we get so much free time and some days are half day and some day we don't have class and so on. We listen to you. And so this year we are giving you classes from 7:30 till 2 o'clock every day. Isn't that wonderful? Which one of my students want to respond and tell me how great that is? Jaim, what do you think? All right. None of my students want to open their mic and support that. But yeah, we're going till 2 o'clock. And when we get back face to face, we will maintain the exact same timetable. If there needs to be adjustment, there will be adjustment. But you know, everywhere we go, we're hearing about this learning deficit and learning gap and so on. And at Pembroke High School, we want to ensure that our students have the best opportunity at everything. And so, in order to close this learning gap, we are making sure that we run our classes up to the day. And in the midst of all of that, not only do we understand the need for academia, you know, old time people would say reading, writing, and arithmetic. Not only are we aware of the need for academics, but we are also aware that there is the clubs and societies that is important. And so we have on a Thursday afternoon, sorry, not morning, Thursday afternoon, we have clubs, and this is mandatory. So we're going to be having online clubs, and we are expecting that our students are going to subscribe to the online clubs. We need some more engagement. We need some more social interaction. We need to be able to talk to our peers, and we need to be doing something different other than just what we are doing in class. And so the clubs and societies are absolutely important. And a member of staff, Mr. Redman, sent me a very interesting format that we can use to better integrate and foster participation of students. And we'll roll that out as time progress, right? But the idea is to ensure that there is a space that students can come together, talk with their peers, and do something other than what is done in class. And so clubs and societies are important, and we are glad that we have teachers who are willing to support this. All right, so please, when the time comes, ensure that you enroll in at least one of the clubs. What have we been doing as a school? Well, we are preparing for both face-to-face and we are preparing for online. No, that is not correct. We are not preparing for face-to-face and we're not preparing for online. We are prepared for face-to-face and we are prepared for online, right? And so over these months, we have been beefing up our ICT capabilities. So we have installed additional access points. We are installing more access points so that when we get back to face-to-face, we are able to access the internet across the school. We are putting things together so that teachers who may have challenges of internet and so on in their community. Say, for instance, one of my teachers in Spanish Town learns that there's going to be a power outage on this day. This teacher can come to school to teach the classes so that you don't miss classes, right? And so we have put things in place so that we can actually accommodate the teaching of students online from here. We're also prepared for hybrid teaching and learning because we know that we will never get back to what it was before March 2020, right? It is now time for us to move forward and to get to the place where we know that information technology and so on is something that will be with us and will have to be infused in learning going forward. One of the things that I am really contemplating, and I know my parents who are online are going to support this, and I just know that this is something that is going to be vital. Maybe we should now put on the book list that each student come with a device. And we should probably even look to see what is the most reasonable device that a student can use to accomplish that which they need to do, and to say to students and parents, this is what we are recommending that you have. And so for parents, I'm saying to you, begin to ensure that your child have a device for use. I know some of you are going to say to me, I use the phone, but you know something? While the phone can be used, it is not the most ideal, right? And so there are so many things that you would want to do that you become limited once you have just a telephone handset. And so parents, whatever it is, I'm going to ask you, invest in a device for your child. I would say to you, if you can invest in a laptop, please invest in a laptop, right? I know that the tablets can be used, but the tablets again are limited in what it is that they can do. And so we're saying to you, one cocoa full basket. So if you put down a little, put down a little, put down a little, put down a little, then you would be able to now go and to get a device for your child. Remember, you are investing in your children's future. And the same laptop that this child uses in grade 8 is the same laptop that can be used in grade 9 and grade 10. And by the time them reach grade 11, they're going to need a new one because the technology would have gone so far, right? But at least you would have gotten 2 or 3 years out of it if it is cared well. And so my parents, I'm encouraging you, begin, if you have not yet done so, to put together some funds for laptops. As a matter of fact, I am in contact with a store, and I'll probably try a few more, and I could easily send some prices to you and the address of the store that you can go and you can visit and so on. Tell them that you're coming from Pembroke High School and ask for a discount. And I'm sure you will be treated well, right? That is what you get for being a parent and student of Pembroke Hall, you know. You know, you get a discount because of that. So I will send something to you. And I will say to you, go out, man, and let's invest in our children's future. I want you to know that we are believing in our children, and I know you also believe in your children. We have ensured that we have all the necessary tools here at Pembroke Hall in terms of protocols for when we resume face-to-face, whenever that is. So you need not worry. Our systems are in place, and we are readily working through that, right? I want you to also note that while we are not here saying to you, you must have your children vaccinated, that's a decision that you will have to make. But guess what? We sent out information to parents about the vaccination schedules and so on, sent out by the Ministry of Education. Parents were rude enough to send voice note to tell me what me and Andrew Holness must go do to which part of our people and whatever, which was so offensive and rude. The fact of the matter is, you may not agree with vaccination, but that don't mean you have to be rude, because everyone has the right to their opinion. As a principal of this institution, my job is to pass on the information, right? I'm not saying you must get your child vaccinated. I encourage vaccination, yes, but the decision ultimately is going to be yours. And when you make that decision, it's a decision you will have to live with. At the Pembroke High School, when we had the vaccination blitz the other day, we used our school bus for 2 of the days to transport students and parents to the Merle Grove High School for vaccination. You see, the ministry is saying that if we go back face-to-face, 65% of our population would need to be vaccinated. And so I am not the person who deals with the policy making. I am the person who execute the policy. And so I'm saying to you, parents, it is a decision that you must make. I want you to pay attention to what it is that is being said, not just Facebook and YouTube, because people, you have only for Facebook MDs nowadays, you know, everybody turn Facebook doctor. You know, everybody have an idea of what it is and why you must take the vaccine and why you mustn't take it and all kind of things. But I want us to focus on what it is that are credible sources, and anything that we from the Pembroke High School post, right? From especially our guidance unit, we would have done our due diligence and we know that these sources are credible sources, right? And so I want you to know, parents, that it is a decision you will have to make, but get the facts, get the facts. And if it is you are comfortable after looking at the facts, get vaccinated and get your children vaccinated. I'll tell you one of the things that we are contemplating at Pembroke High School. We want to make life easier for you, you know. You know what we did? We went ahead and we said to the Ministry of Education, we are willing to be a vaccination site, right? And so I was in a meeting yesterday evening with the Ministry of Education and other schools that will be vaccination sites. It's not going to be Pembroke High School alone. It is other schools, you know, like, well, Merle Grove is already one. We have Campion, we have Calabar, we have Mona, we have several other schools, Immaculate St. Andrew High School for girls, several other schools that have proposed to be sites so that their children who want to be vaccinated can come to school and be vaccinated. Again, as I said, it's a decision you will have to make. I am not telling you you must do it. All I do is provide the information, and I believe in providing the access. Once I provide the information and the access, the decision becomes you. All right. I notice again that we are gone into the chat and we are doing a lot of unnecessary texting in the chat. Students, please know, you see with the online space, you know, you can't run and you can't hide, you know. So be very, very mindful of what it is you are doing. You are in a school, official school event, behave yourselves, or we are going to have to take action. All right. So again, I see the unnecessary chatter in the chat. Please desist from doing this. All right. I believe I'm going to stop here because there are a few more persons who will need to speak. And you know that when you get a pastor going, you know, it can take a while before him stop. But I will quit while I'm ahead this morning. And I know much of my staff is going to be quite surprised that I have kept it this short today. So again, welcome again, my parents and my students. The Lord's peace be with you. And we are looking forward to greeting you when that time comes. In a little bit, you will hear about the mode that we will be using for classes, which is the Google Classroom. And you'll hear a little bit more about how we are proceeding with that. So God bless you. I will be here for the end of the duration, and I'll be here at the end so that whatever questions you may have, I will be able to answer. And so over to you again, Mr. Vernon. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Principal Ellis, for such a short message. And we note, and I want to reiterate that at our school, Pembroke Hall, we are doing everything to ensure that our students get the best education, the best opportunities. So technologically wise, we are there. Teachers have invested in getting equipment. They have their own laptop, etc., to ensure that students are able to access. The other thing too, Rev Ellis spoke about vaccination. And I'm sitting right here and letting you know that I am fully vaccinated. Just like how I wear a seatbelt whenever I drive, I am wearing the vaccine. I'm having the vaccine whenever the virus reaches me. All right, so I have something to protect myself. Okay, thank you very much. Jahim, I notice you are well attired, I am happy to see you there, and you're very attentive. That's good. Now we are going to ask the Dean, Mrs. Phillips Williams, to address us, and that will be followed by our nurse, Miss Gallimore, on the health focus.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. Good morning, parents. Good morning, students. Good morning, colleagues. Just continuing in the same vein that the principal was in, and just want to start on, well, let me not start on that note, but to say, like I said last year, it's school on as usual. School unusual, but it's school as usual. And if it's school as usual, it means that whatever it is that applied to the physical space when you were there on the school compound, it's the same that applies now. We have the same expectations. Of course, you know that everything can't be the same, but what I'm saying in terms of rules, in terms of the R in RISE, respect, we are expecting that. We are expecting that you will follow the instructions, and it's more than once that you were instructed on this platform to refrain from talking unnecessarily and people continue to speak. We ask you to listen. You're getting the information, and this is the same way you operate in the parent groups. You don't listen and you don't read. All you do is talk. Parents, please. It's not just the students, it's the students and the parents. We are giving you information. We've invited you here to give you information. Please listen. When the time comes, there will be time for questions, answers, comments. You can make them at that time. Let's do things and do it the right way. So those persons who are asking about book rental, those persons who are asking about who's vaccinated and who isn't, that's not the time for it. That time will come. Right now, it's about getting information about how we move from here on for school. Okay? So, commendations to those who are beautifully attired. I must say I had concerns. I had concerns about how many of you were going to come in your uniform based on the conversations that I've heard in the parent group, who not buy nothing, who not have any money, and they're not doing one thing, etc. And so I had concerns, but you know, as I said, people like to talk. And it's good when, if you talk and you check it and you realize that what you say is not quite what it ought to be, that you make the corrections. And so I see that a lot of persons have put their students in their uniforms. Here's what I'm asking. Don't just put on a show. Don't just do it for orientation, because I've seen that too many times now. You put on the uniform, the hair is well groomed, students looking bright and beautiful, and every year I commend some students, I call them out and I say, look how beautiful this one looks. And somewhere 3-4 months down the road, I look on the same student and I say, is this you? Really? Hair up in the sky, you pants tight, and things just not looking the way they were on the day of orientation. No, I know, as sir said, you're gonna put on the hair must go. That's what the hair does. A lot of things are going to happen that you didn't expect, and some things you'll not be able to fix right away. What we're saying, try to maintain the look. Try to groom yourselves and remain groomed. Not just for a show, but because that's who you are. That's the I in integrity. You're not putting on a show so that when people are looking, then you put on the show, and when they are not looking, you do something very different. You do who you really are. Be who you, there's a saying, senior moment, don't remember exactly what it says, but the essence of it is that you must be true to yourself, to thine own self be true. There it is. To thine own, how many of you learned memory gems at school? I know many of you remember them. Remember this one? To thine own self be true, and it must follow as the day, the night. Then thou canst not be false to any man. So be true to yourselves. That's integrity. Whatever you would do when no one is looking, do it when someone is looking. Whatever you would do when someone is looking, do it when they are not looking. I think I've said enough on the grooming. If long and short of it is, those of you who have come beautifully looking in uniform this morning, keep it up. The teachers want to see you in uniform. You're at school. You're at school. And those of you who didn't come in your uniform, get it. Put on your uniform. As sir said, wash your face. Bathe, look pretty and nice, clean. Just pretend that everybody's seeing you and smelling you and fix yourself. Okay? And if the uniform, if you have only one or two and it runs out, then you have the school, the PE gear. You can also wear the PE gear. That's part, it represents us at Pembroke High School. So I'm moving from the grooming. I take it that you've gotten it, that you understand that from head to foot. Here, what you wear is to look appropriate. Okay. Now, sir made reference to and the camera, the opening of the cameras, and we are asking that. We're asking that you open your camera, and he gave you a very good reason why you should. And we're saying, he also suggested that you use a virtual background that we will send. We know that there's an issue of data. Some of you are using data, and the opening of the cameras will affect that. And so it's okay to close the camera from time to time, but you need to keep your presence so that the teachers know that you are there. Many of you quarrel how many times your child was marked absent on your reports. Why? Because all the teachers saw was that letter of your name. Capital C, capital A, capital D. We're not doing alphabet. You're way past the alphabet stage. You're past that stage. So we need to see you, hear you, know that you are in school and that you are participating. The best way the teacher can know you're in class is when you're participating. Participate. Don't turn on the camera and class has ended and the teacher wants to leave and your camera is still there. Your C is still there because you are gone out C. You are way out in the sea and that big capital C is there. Moving on. How you use this space. Listen to me now, students and parents. Because again, sir made reference, sir covered everything I would have covered, and we're just supporting each other. So sir made reference of that parent. Those parents, not that parent, that one in particular, what to go do with you. How dare you? How dare you speak to anyone like that? And how dare you speak to the principal and the prime minister like that? That is so, I can't find a word for it. And this was said in a setting where there are children, because many of you said your children's name to be added to the group, although we say it's a parent group. That's the other issue. You insist that your children are added, and then you come on and you behave. I guess that's your integrity. You're behaving the same way you would behave elsewhere. Well, we are asking, if this is one time you can pretend to be better than you're behaving outside, behave better in the group, because that's unacceptable and we have rules. And so some of you have been removed. And then you ask how it is that I was removed. You know well why you were removed. We have rules. And let me just say now, while I'm not the person who manages the parent group, that the PTA, I'm saying that if you come in that space and your behavior is such that it is against what the rules dictate, you will be removed. And if you're removed once and you put back and you behave again, you'll be removed. And you'll have to find another way to get your communication from the school. And I'm telling you now, parents, this is Sharon Phillips Williams speaking, not the school. Sharon Phillips Williams saying, don't inbox me. Do not, when you're removed from the group, don't call my inbox. Don't call me personally. Please don't. Because it means that you did not respect what we have to say in the group. Don't hear what I have to say as an individual, because I'm the same one speaking in the group. I'm saying that here, and I know some will be pleased, but that's it. I know, Mr. Vernon, my time is up. So I'm saying, parents, students, you'll be seeing and hearing much more from me. So I don't have to speak here long. You hear from me all the time. I come in and I say it as it is. That's how I am. I'm sorry. I've been saying this every day. Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Because I know sometimes my mouth kind of go off track. And you know, I have to be reminded. And I have to apologize. And I'm willing to apologize when I go wrong. But when I speak the truth, and I know it's the truth, I like to let it remain as such. Let us watch our language. I'm giving you that same scripture passage. Let the words of your mouth and the meditation of your hearts be acceptable in God's sight and in the sight of men and your fellow men and everyone as well. Keep children. Be very careful of what you post in the groups. Be very careful of what you say in class. The disrespect that some of you have meted out to teachers, and you've had to be penalized for it. Many of you have had to have conversations with you and your parents, right? And you've had to do different consequences. And I keep saying to you, you can be suspended. You can be suspended, and some of you have been suspended. You've been suspended from online class for 2 or 3 days already because you've been just out of order. And that will continue. Please, we would rather not have that. So please follow the rules. Be the very nice persons that you can be. And we expect that together we will rise. Respect for all. Integrity is a must. Safety first, which means that you wear your mask at all times, you keep social distance, you practice that while you're not at school, so that when you come to school, it is very easy, it's a natural part of you. And as our motto says, excellence, always. The Lord be with you, the Lord bless you and keep you in this time that is so unpredictable, that is so unsafe. God is our keeper. You be safe now, and I'll see you at school. Online, offline, wherever. Blessings. Thank you.
Nurse Gallimore. We'll now have Nurse Gallimore for health focus. While we are waiting, Nurse Gallimore, I want to remind you, please rename yourselves. We are seeing some brand names. Please rename yourselves so that for our records, please. Am I seeing Nurse Gallimore? Okay, I'm not seeing Nurse Gallimore. Nurse Gallimore there?
Nurse Gallimore, if you're on, please to raise your hand so that we can identify you.
She doesn't seem to be
Maybe she lost.
on.
Maybe she lost connection because I had messaged her and she said she was on. So maybe she has lost connection. So let's continue then. At this stage, I'm going to introduce the grade 8 team. Okay. Are you seeing the presentation?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Okay, now we have put together a strong team of teachers to guide our lovely students. And starting with Miss Felicia Campbell. She's also our assistant grade coordinator. And I must apologize again for her absence. She's sick, but she will be strong soon again. She will be in charge of 828. Now, students who are coming from N7NR1, you're in 828. And this is an all-male class. And of course, you're familiar with Miss Campbell. For 830, that's for the students who are coming from N7NR2. Mr. Nosbert Lee is your form teacher. And as you know, Mr. Lee is a great art teacher. For those students who are coming from 7NR3, your form teacher will be the lovely Miss Diana Powell. For students who have left grade 736, you are now in grade 839, and your form teacher is Miss Tahira Metcalf. She is new here, and she's also a past student of Pembroke Hall High School. For students coming from 736, your form teacher, you're going to form grade 840, and your form teacher is Mr. Dean Mitchell, who you know is one of the great musicians we have. And last but not least, those students coming from 738, your form teacher is Mr. Desmond Green, or rather, Senor Desmond Green. He is their Spanish teacher, and he will lead you and guide you. I want to also ask all our grade 8 students, because you're special. We see that you're all special. And I'm asking that you all cooperate with the teachers that you have. They have your interest at heart, and we will do all that we can. We put in all effort to ensure that your development is central and it's of our focus while you're at Pembroke Hall High School. So please cooperate with them. All right? Okay. At this, is Nurse Gallimore here?
No, Nurse Gallimore isn't here. She's actually in another meeting at this time.
Okay. All right. Well, I was hoping she would be here for us to maybe should delve a little more in the vaccination, which is a hot topic now. COVID-19 vaccination. But that's all. Well, at this stage, and the time is running, we will like for the parents, guardians who have been biting at the bit in terms of a response, a comment. We are gonna allow you now to be able to ask a question. Miss Powell, you'll monitor that for me, please. You can ask a question, a pertinent question, that we will try our best to give you some information regarding that.
Hi, good morning, parents and students. Just to let you know that once you have a question, you just raise your hand and I'll identify you. And please check your screen. An option will be there for you to unmute your mic. So we're going to take Miss, we have Young. 2 hands are raised so far. Shaquille Young. And then we're going to take Kane. Go ahead, Shaquille.
Pleasant morning, everyone on the platform. I am Shakib's young grandmother, and I'd like to know when can he pick up his book rental, because you cannot start a term without books.
Morning. Well, we were hoping that the book rentals could have been collected today, because we originally intended for orientation to be face-to-face in increments. And so because of the lockdowns, we have had to reorganize. And so as we complete orientation, then we will send to you the date for the collection of books. But we were preparing to hand out books today, but of course, because of the lockdowns, we will now have to reorganize and get that information out. So we will do that shortly.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Morning. Mr. Maximum, you said 7:36 to time when you were telling us our new teachers. I'm from 7:37, so is my teacher the music teacher, sir?
737 is going to grade 840. So your form teacher is Mr. Dean Mitchell, music teacher.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I am Maxim Vernon. Vernon is my surname. Kimon. Thanks for that question.
Go ahead, Mabel. Then we'll take Roxanne Mercy.
Miss, we have to take the vaccine to go to school? Eh?
That's a good question. The Ministry of Health, the government, in terms of face-to-face, we would need 65% of the population vaccinated. And there's a good reason for that. At that level, it means that most persons will not get sick and there will not be a great pressure on hospitalization and possibility of the increased death of persons, which we are seeing now. So if more than likely there will be a stipulation as to what will take place. whether you must be vaccinated to attend school face-to-face or have a test.
Sir Vernon,
Yes.
Sir Vernon,
Yes.
parents, we have to pay attention to the news, right? Not just social media, but the news. And currently, the Minister of Education, as well as the Prime Minister, has indicated that only students who are vaccinated will be allowed into face-to-face teaching and learning once that begins. We will have to abide by that protocol. And so those persons who are unvaccinated will continue to do online learning, and we will be doing our hybrid teaching at that time. So unless it changes from the policy level, meaning government, then we will have to abide by that stipulation, right?
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna take Roxanne Mercy, then Catherine, then Lisa, then Omar, and then Opal Campbell. Please remember to check your screens. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Miss Mercy.
I wanted to ask, what will we be doing class on?
Google. Are you talking online?
Yeah.
Online, it's Google Classroom. Were you on last year when you're in grade 7?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it will be the Google Classroom that you'll be using.
Okay, sir.
I will give you I'll show you a presentation of the classes that you're expected to see in your on your class wall when you go into the Google.
My question for you guys today is, are we going to be using the same ID number?
Yes, that ID number carries with you till the end of your period at Pembroke High School.
Sir, but
Same
I tried
ID,
to log in.
same email.
I tried to log in back today and it didn't log in.
That is something that may be attributed to a password that you may think you know, but it is the same email address, same ID number, absolutely nothing has changed.
Okay.
You can later on speak to the relevant persons. We'll tell you where, and we will direct you as to how the password can be reset.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, good morning. I'd like to know when is it that they're going to get the ID? They took the picture already. I just want to know when they're going to get the ID.
Okay, we'll try to arrange for the IDs to be presented when they collect the books.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll give you that date shortly.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
So I have a question about the book list.
Go ahead.
When we will be getting the book list?
The book list? The book list was sent in the parents group as well as posted on the school's app months ago. So if you can download the school app if you don't have it as yet. Just go into the Google Play Store and look for Pembroke High School, and you can download the book list from that. Otherwise, I will just ask the work group to just post the book list again.
Please mute your mic.
So repeat that part I didn't hear.
I'm saying I will have it reposted in the parents group, but you can also, if you're not in the parents group and do not wish to be in the parents group, you can go to the school app, which you can download in the App Store for free. And the book list, as well as many other things relating to the school, is on the app.
Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, everyone. Sir, I have a question. What about students who are not getting on, not getting through, or not focusing on the online class?
When you say not getting on, what do you mean?
They're not. The grade's not good at all. They're not progressing. I don't know what's happening.
Well, that is something that cannot be addressed from this forum. That is something that if you need to get in touch with one of the counselors so that you can have them talk with the student to see what is happening. Maybe there is a place for some greater support from home. Maybe there are some deficiencies that we can help with from our end. But that is something that you begin the conversation by contacting one of the members of our counseling team to see what may be the issues and so on. But that's not something that we can answer in this forum. Now, if you're a part of the parents group, you will be acquainted with the counseling team and you will be able to reach one of them. If that is not so, in terms of you're not a part of the group, then you can shoot us an email and we will have one of the counselors contact you and work through that. At the same time, I will say to you and all the parents, please remember, once you know the names of the individuals, you can always email us. So our counselors, let's say Katie and Coleman, it would be kcoleman@pembrokehighschool.com. Miss Ramonia Preddy, rpreddy@pembrokehighschool.com. So once you have the listing of the name of the individuals, you can always email us because the emails are standard. First initial, last name @pembrokehighschool.com.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Good morning, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Unfortunately, my camera isn't working, so I cannot open. I'm the guardian for, you may see me logged in as Bobette Cook. I'm the guardian for Itano Graham in 839. Just checking, when will the books, the rental books, be available for collection?
The books, I'm going to just repeat that we initially planned on giving rental books at orientation because our original plan was to have orientation incrementally beginning today, right? Because of the new regulations, we have had to readjust. And so after the orientation exercises have been completed, we will send a message out to say which days, which classes can come for books. So now we will have to do the books by classes to ensure that not a lot of people are on the compound a particular day. So we'll have the class and the time. And so before the end of the week, that schedule will be done and posted. And please just pay attention to what we will post, because if things adjust again in terms of protocols and lockdowns and so on, we may have to adjust again, right? So it's always a wait and see game. But for the moment, we will conclude orientation and then we do the handing out of books, which will more than likely be starting sometime next week.
Thank you so much, Reverend Ellis. Your precursor was, let me repeat. I'm so sorry, sir, but I didn't hear it before, or I would have asked. But thank you for that.
No, man, that's fine.
Yeah, I understand. Thanks a lot.
Bless you.
Let me ask. I'm going to ask for parents or students who are not familiar with the Google Classroom platform. Please indicate such in the chat so that we can try to organize some amount of training for you to become familiar.
Weren't we supposed to do that after this? Mr. Vernon, weren't we supposed to have a Google Classroom training after this orientation exercise?
Yes, but what happened is that the team was more focusing on grade 7. So
gotcha.
Right. So in that case, we want to gauge and see how many persons, considering that they are coming from grade 7, and some would have been familiar with it. So we are hoping in the chat we get the numbers and then we can put on
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, go ahead, please.
When can we come to school and collect our PE gears?
The PE gears are here, and so I would say to you for the PE, you can come tomorrow. With hopefully you can find your receipt from last year. That will make life much easier to collect those gears.
Okay, sir.
All right. While we're there, I'm gonna present so that you can see the subjects you'll be having. So when you go on your, when you check your Google Classroom, you should see a certain number of subjects.
I see in the chat a question of when you can collect this voucher. The voucher can be collected on the days that are not lockdown days between 8 o'clock a.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. Please note that on a Friday, it's a 12 o'clock closure. So it's really Wednesday, Thursday, and up to 12 o'clock on Friday. You can also pay the fees at school via the debit or credit card route. And we can also give you the account information so you can do an online transfer. If you choose to do an online transfer, we ask that in the remarks section that you put the child's name and grade so that we can apply accordingly. Don't just go and make a transfer because we would not know who that transfer is from. So you would need to, in the remarks section, put the child's name and grade.
Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, so if the child do not want to take the vaccine, sir, and the parents is forcing them, sir, we have to take it, sir.
Son, that's a decision you'll have to take based on a conversation with your parents. Your parent is the one responsible for you. And so I can't say if the parent wants you to take it and you don't want to take it, what happens? That's a conversation you'll have to have with your parents. I can't mandate that, sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Delia Criticon. I have a question. Question is,
go ahead, please.
Will the school be having any remedial classes for grade 8? Seeing that the results from last year's schooling was so terrible. Is there any plan going forward for a remedial class for this school?
Very good question, Ms. Freckleton. Mrs. Shields Green, can you respond to this for me, please?
Good morning, parents. Thank you for that question, Miss. All right, so 2 ways we're hoping to facilitate that. As you know, we are using the national curriculum standard, and we are also engaging our APS coaching, which is the alternative pathway for secondary education. So 2 ways we're hoping to assist those students who didn't do so well. So in the main subjects, we say main subjects, all right, the core subjects, the math, English, and the science, we have the APS coaches who will work closely with those students who need that additional support. And we will also have some pull-out classes for similar students who need additional support. So those are 2 ways in which we are hoping to assist the students who are needing support at this time. The APS coaches, those students in the pathway being given additional support, and also pulling out some of them who need further support. So we are going to be trying our best to see how quickly we can move these students back to the place where they ought to be. And so we're going to ask parents to ensure that they work with the students. So if you see us giving them additional things that they need to be following through on, we're asking that you work with us, help the students so that they can improve and so that they are not left behind. Because I know the feeling sometimes when parents check the reports and they're not seeing the kind of grades that they're expecting, they are concerned, and so are we. So you have to help them to be able to translate the kind of support that we're giving them here into the grades. How can you do that as a parent? Ensure that they study. Not only study when it is time for assessment, but after each class after each class, ask them about some things that they have learned. Yes, have a conversation with them, probably look in their books to see if they have been doing anything or doing enough. You have that responsibility to help to provide that kind of support. But we are going to do from our end the two things that I said, which is the apps coaches in the regular classes pathways, supporting them and also doing some pull-outs. Over to you, Mr. Vernon.
Mr. Vernon, how many more questions are we going to take before we end this section?
That was the last question.
Okay then.
Because we are coming up to the hour. We are 20 minutes behind in time. All right. At this time, see, any other queries? Let me say, any other queries that you have, please, you can send it in the group chat or you can email. Please remember to indicate whether you are familiar with the Google Classroom, because we want, when it's time for classes, our students are ready.
Mr. Vernon, I see somebody asking if we'll be having classes on Friday. Students, remember in the principal's presentation, he did say that we have increased the days and we have also increased the hours. And so no longer will you be having a day off, but you'll have your classes Monday to Friday. All right, from 7:30 to 2 o'clock.
Yes. At this time, we're looking to going into closing. We had to do the school song and the national anthem in our program. I wonder if we should still do that or just do the national anthem alone.
You could go ahead with whatever you have queued, Mr. Vernon. Whatever you have queued,
all right. I'm
go ahead with that.
We're gonna do the school song and then the anthem.
A place of hope, a place of dream, a place called home, that's how it seems. A place we love, somewhere we grow. Sometimes it's the only place we know. A place of light, the best we live, we always see because it gives. A place we earn, the things we learn, and all our journey we sojourn. Pembroke, the place we learn who we want to be. Pembroke, the place where we want to be. Pembroke, the place where we time will come, we have to go to utilize all that we know. Although it's hard for us to leave, we have to depart from your sleep. But by the time we should be glad you gave us dreams we never had. Although we always do our best to make us strive for excellence. America, the place we learn who we want to be. America, the place to not reach for you and me. America, the place where we start to live our life.
Such a beautiful song. Some of you have already started your lives. And in it. And you're going to do it with excellence, of course. Mr. Mitchell, it seems that Mr. Mitchell has lost connection. Thank you very much, Mr. Mitchell. And I want to thank those of us who were sitting in attention or who were standing in attention while our national anthem was being played. Now, I really want to thank all of you for being here. We do appreciate your presence. Without you, we have no school. With you, we can have the best school, the school of choice. And so we are looking forward to your cooperation, parents, students, all our teachers. We are here ready for us to make the best of what is possible, even with the challenges that we are facing right now. Thank you again. We are now finished. If you want to leave, you can leave now. Thank you very much.
All right, have a great day, a great afternoon, parents and students and colleagues.